This is the second time I'm trying to record this video because I don't know, I just get interrupted, and you know, it's fine. Throws off your groove a little. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so we watched Jojo Part 2, and I have to say it was a lot. This shirt's a little small on me. I'm a little uncomfortable. It's my first time wearing it, and I'm realizing that it's kind of small on me, so I feel a little stiff, like I can't move as much. Whatever. Part 3 is great. Part 3 is a lot of fun. Honestly, I have to say, might be my favorite so far. At least the first half of Part 3, because, you know, they split it in half. Like, they change up the intro and everything, and it's also the longest part. So I was considering doing that, and then I was like, no, we'll just wait until I finish and do the whole season, all 48 episodes or whatever it is. And then I get to the halfway point, and I'm like, oh, wait, they kind of actually split it in half on their own, I guess. Which I guess they even have, like, different subtitles for them. It's like Jojo Part 4, I think it's The Road to Egypt is the name of Part 1, which makes sense because the whole season is them on the way to Egypt, obviously. But yeah, so I think it's really good. It's a lot of fun. I have to say, it's a little weird, you know, I mean, this is the first season where we get stands, of course. And I really like the addition of stands because it allows them to be a lot more creative and do a lot more with these, not just the character designs, but their concepts and the amount of characters that you have. And it's like, it also allows, because you're fighting one new stand in every episode, it allows it to be more episodic. Now, obviously, you can't just watch any episode in any order. It is still a story-driven show. But it's a lot easier to go back, and it's like, you know, you aren't in the middle of one conflict where you would be if you wanted to rewatch an episode from Part 1 or Part 2. You know, it's like, okay, we're in the middle of a fight against one of the Pillar Men, and I gotta rewatch this whole thing because it's instead of being like with Part 3 where it's like you fight like one, maybe two stands every episode, you know, it's like, all right, this episode we're going to fight Deep Blue Moon, and in this episode we're going to fight the Sun, and in this episode we're going to fight Tower of Grey. It's like, okay, well, you can describe it like that. It's like, okay, that's the episode with the monkey. That's the episode with the doll, Ebony Devil. That's the episode with Steely Dan. It's where with Part 1 and Part 2, it's like, okay, so you can't just describe it one by one. You have to describe the narrative as a whole. You have to go, all right, so they start out in New York, and they meet the one guy from the first season, and he's turned himself into a vampire, and then they go and blah 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 blah, and then Joseph has to learn how to use Hammond, and then he goes to Italy to meet Caesar, and then and then they go to meet Lisa. You know, it's like, it sounds boring, and it's harder to describe what's going on. It's not like, okay, they just got to Pakistan, and they have to fight this stand. Okay. That's the plot of the episode. It's not like, oh, Jojo's in the middle of a fight against one of the Pillar Men. Jojo is in the middle of a fight against these knights that were resurrected by Dio, but he's already killed one of them and is now being attacked by it's like, they do 2-part episodes, but it still is able to feel, within that 2-part, it's condensed. And I really like that, honestly. It makes it, again, they're able to balance the episodic, you know, pick and choose any episode you want at random, while also having the one continuous narrative. And I really appreciate that when it's done well. Like, something like Avatar does that pretty well. Where it's like, okay, this is the episode where we go to Kyoshi. This is the episode where we go to Omashu. This is the episode where we go through the secret tunnel, you know? And yeah, as Avatar goes on, they move away from that, and it starts to become more of a continuous narrative. Whilst it's more balanced at the beginning, but then they start to lean towards one continuous narrative, which is fine. It's fine no matter what. I mean, even with this, it's like, oh, well, this is during the part of the series where they were still in Japan. This is during the part where Avdol, they thought he was dead. Or I guess everyone thought Avdol was dead except for Polnareff, which I don't like that, honestly. I mean, I know it's played off as a joke, and I guess it's kind of funny, but, like, it made me appreciate Polnareff's character a lot more. I mean, aside from just being comedic relief, I mean, he's a goofy guy, you know? And they do balance the, oh, he's a bit of a womanizer, and the man wants a girlfriend, and he's also a fucking idiot. They balance that with the, like, okay, well, I want to avenge my sister who was murdered, and possibly more than that, it's heavily implied. So I'm searching for the stand user who did that to her when we were children, and I want my revenge on him. And then after that, after they beat Centerfold, they think Avdol is dead during that, and it's implied that he is. The viewer is meant to believe that he's dead. But they don't. Which I wouldn't have had a problem if it turned out that he wasn't, if they did bring him back somehow, or it was revealed that he never died in the first place. But I don't like that everyone knew except for Polnareff, because he felt like it was his, you know, Avdol was killed while the two of them were fighting Centerfold and Whole Horse. You know, Centerfold, the guy who Polnareff himself really wants to go after. And it's just kind of, that was something that really kind of, that didn't sit right with me. I guess I'll talk about the other thing that didn't sit right with me. The fucking monkey episode. Funny monkey, ooh, ooh, ah, ah, ooh, 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 ooh. You know, Robbie, don't you love monkeys? You love making the monkey noises at really annoying times to annoy everyone around you. Wouldn't you like the funny monkey? I mean, don't get me wrong, I do love a good funny monkey every so often. I mean, I'm looking at a poster of Donkey Kong right up here, you know, behind the camera. I have another one over there. I love me some Donkey Kong. I love me some monkey. And having the monkey be a creep and also a psychotic murderer is fine. I mean, obviously it's not fine, but he's a villain, so it's like, okay, the villain is a bad guy. Ooh. You know, that's fine. I don't like how the episode, how the way they... I don't like the way that the story goes... Not the story, but, like... I don't like how they portray, like, the girl in that episode. I don't like it. She's 12. It's one thing for the monkey to be a gross creep. It's another thing for the show to present it like that. And that's the only time they do anything like that. And it's like, all right, whatever. But it's like, maybe don't weirdly sexualize the 12-year-old. And I mean, you can make the argument that it's from the monkey's perspective, which, fine, I get. And it's not bad enough that it, like, makes me hate the show. It just made me really uncomfortable, and that is, like, it will keep me from rewatching the monkey episode, which really disappoints me, because, again, your boy loves a good monkey. I love to monkey around and go bananas, you know? Look at me, I have my shirt looks like the jungle. Don't like that, though. Didn't like that one. But, I mean, it's on Netflix, so that's par for the course. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of the fact that there's a monkey, you know, all of these what I love about the stands is that it allows them to, which I think I already mentioned this, but, like, I want to reiterate, you know, it allows them to be super creative with these characters, not just the main characters. I mean, if you look at the main JoJos throughout the series, you know, you have Jonathan, you have Joseph. Jotaro is by far the most iconic JoJo. I mean, you look at him, you know, how are they designed? You know, Joseph he is a little, they do a little bit with him. Not a lot though. Like I can't even like in my head describe how he dresses. You know? It's not nothing, it doesn't stick with you. If you see a picture of him, you're like, "Oh yeah, that's Joseph Joestar, of course." But then it's like I can't describe what he looks like other than he's like has brown hair and is super jacked, you know? Jonathan isn't as bad, but he really just wears like a generic like vest with a tie, and he's a very gentlemanly Englishman, you know? He's super cool or whatever, and it's like, and he's a gentleman in 1800s England, you know? That is the 1800s when that takes place, right? Late 1800s and early 1900s, I believe, because it takes place 100 years before this, which is like early 2000s, I believe. Whatever. But Jotaro, you know, he has, of course, his black suit with the hat, with the hair that comes up in the back and like goes through the hat somehow. But it looks fine because it's all black, so you can't really tell where the hat stops and the hair begins, and it's funny. And then, of course, he has Star Platinum. He has his stand. It's this big purple dude with flowing hair. And yeah, I mean, Star Platinum has like the most generic powers. It's like, oh, he's super strong and super fast and can see really far, I guess. Which is, you know, it's pretty basic, but it's fine for the main character to have the generic powers, and it works, you know? And then he's iconic, and he has a character design, you know? And you look at even just the rest of the group, you know, you have Avdol, where he has like the, I mean, he's the only black character, but other than that, you know, he has his robe and all of his rings and stuff. And then of course he has Magician's Red, which is some kind of phoenix like thing, which also just is like a buff dude with like a bird's head, and it has the fire powers, but whatever, you know, whatever. Which I was really, honestly, you know, I know I complained about the reveal that Avdol was alive and they were keeping it from him. They could have easily just made it so that, because Magician's Red is a phoenix, right? Like, it's a bird with fire powers. It's like, yeah, it's a phoenix. Why didn't they just make it so that he was, like, one of his stand's powers is that he can be resurrected? You know? Like, just do that. Instead of, and that would have been probably cooler, and it would have been more of a shock to you could have shocked the entire cast instead of just Polnareff, and then you would have gotten rid of the fact that the rest of the characters were keeping something from Polnareff, which isn't just a comedic thing, it's also a dramatic thing, and it makes me kind of not, it makes me not happy, especially in like the very next episode when they're, because the episode where that reveal happens at the end, I think the next episode is the like season finale, which is High Priestess. And then at the end of that, they're all like, yes, we have such good friends and we're all so close and we love each other very much. And it's like, it's cute, but I don't know. I'm not a huge, I really don't like that. And that really like, that's all though. I mean, I know I'm really harping on the stuff I had a problem with, but I really want to say that I do like this a lot. And the stands, again, are so cool and so creative. I mean, High Priestess is just able to transform into anything. And then you have Hermit Purple, which isn't like, it doesn't have like a normal physical body like most stands do. Instead, it is the purple like vines that come out, and it can also you make the spirit photos, and it's really cool, and I kind of wish they would use that more often, but whatever. And it's, you know, it's cool to see Joseph again, and it's like, I kind of wish he did the stupid, he's only done it once so far, the next you're going to say blah blah blah, and the character says it, and they're like, oh my god, you know. I love that bit so much, and I kind of wish they did it more, which I thought they didn't. I was told, because again, I have a friend who was begging me to watch this show and finally got me to watch it, and he was saying like, yeah, it's kind of disappointing he never does that after in part 3, and then I got to an episode where and he did it, and it's like, yes, Joseph's back, and I don't know. I mean, you cannot tell me that old man Joseph and young Joseph are the same character. They're very different from each other. Like, it's believable that one ended up becoming the other, and I do have to say I do like that they didn't just get rid of Hammond. No one uses it anymore, of course, because they all use their stands now, except for Joseph, who uses it sometimes, and it's just cool. I like it. Oh, he doesn't just use his stand; he also uses his Hammond powers. But yeah, again, you have all these unique characters with their unique stands, and it's just fun to see what's going to happen next. What powers will the next stand have? Honestly, I have to say I'm kind of disappointed that they stick to the tarot cards like name scheme. And then, I mean, I've already watched the first couple episodes of the second half of the season, and they all use the Egyptian gods. And I think they eventually get rid of it, to my knowledge. And honestly, I don't know. It's just like, okay. And it's named after this thing. It doesn't have a unique name yet, and I know they keep stands and do weird shit with the names eventually, so when we get to that point, it'll be cool. But as of now, a little disappointing, but you know, whatever. No, it's not really a problem. It's a good show. It's a lot of fun. They stick with the all the music references still, and those are a lot of fun. How like every other character, you know, and I think that adds to the fact that you don't take the show super seriously. You know, it still is just kind of having fun with itself, which is really good. You know, you want that with any show, but I think especially with this one, and it's done well. I mean, again, it's like some things are played off as a joke. Again, like the reveal about Avdol, where it's played off as a joke at the end, but it's like, oh, I would have liked you to be a little more serious with that. Especially that entire episode, Polnareff is super guilty, and he uses one of the wishes that Cameo grants him to like bring back Avdol, or at least try to. And it's like, because he feels guilty about this. But yeah, you know, you can't take the show too seriously, which is fun. You know, of course, you get all the memes. But then in addition to that, you get the fun stuff, you know, the crazy ideas for every stand, you know. When the show isn't too serious and doesn't have super hard rules, it allows you to be more creative, I guess, with, again, each of the stands. And I mean, you have Wheel of Fortune, which is just a car, and Emperor, which is a gun. You know, and you're able to do cool things with these stands, and also just have the generic ones, which are just a person, like a weird ghost thing that floats behind the user, and it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. I love it. I really have to say I do like it a lot. Again, though, I know I spent a lot of the time in this video kind of ragging on the faults, but I do, again, this is probably my favorite season so far. I think when I eventually watch the second half of the season, I won't rank them together. I'll still rank them as separate parts, because there's like a total of almost like 50 episodes in this, and I'm really happy that the show splits it in half on its own. You know, it gives it a new intro and everything. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself in this. It's just that I'm having a hard time remembering what I said in the initial recording of this and what I've already said in this recording. So if I am repeating myself a little bit in this video, I'm sorry. But let me mention the intro. The intro is cool. I have to say, I really do like the intro. It's probably the best one so far. As far as the song goes, they're all great. They're all a lot of fun. The outro's cool, you know. Walk Like an Egyptian is a fucking banger. I'm kind of disappointed that they got rid of that as the outro for this next season, but I'll talk about that in the next video for this. yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, and you know, it is still nice to see. One more thing, it was nice to see in one episode, Susie Q, just because, you know, it's nice to see in shows like this that really do change protagonists from season to season. It's always nice to see characters from the old one again, you know. Like seeing in Legend of Korra, which I should watch. I've only seen the first season of it, but it's nice like seeing like Katara and Toph, and I think Zuko's in it again. I only watched the first season when it came out, and I will rewatch it for the channel. Don't get me wrong. But it's nice seeing them, and it's like, okay, it's still the character, but here's how they got to this point, you know. Or like in the Star Wars prequels, it's like, oh, it's Yoda and Obi-Wan. I remember them from the original trilogy, or even in the sequel trilogy to a lesser extent, you know. It's like, oh, there's Leia and Luke and Han and Chewie and blah, 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 you know. It's nice to see characters that were the main characters in the first part of the story pass the mantle to the new characters and still be present to an extent, you know? That's just it's always just nice when it's done well. I know I name dropped the Star Wars sequel trilogy, and you can debate on whether or not that was done well. I know I will. But it's in concept, it's nice, you know? And it's a lot of fun. I think that's all I gotta say. You know, I'm really happy that this and the Captain America video are relatively short for the channel. But yeah, I'm still watching part 2. It's a lot of fun, and I do really, again, I'm hooked on this show. You know, I love these characters. I love the setting. I love just the idea of stands in general. It allows for so much creativity, and I'm really excited to see what's next. I mean, even just with what I've seen of the first couple episodes of part 2, or season 3, part 2, you know, or part 3, part 2, you know what I mean. Even just seeing what they've done there, it's like they have to keep getting creative and keep doing weird shit with it. And it's like, that's exciting because, yeah, even when there's a stand that's like kind of lame, like I wasn't a huge fan of the, like some of the more generic ones, like I'm not a huge fan of the old lady. I forget the name of her stand. It's the one that's like fog. I wasn't a huge fan of that one, but it's still like it presents a creative situation for the characters to figure out how they're going to use the tools that they have to get out of the situation. And it's like you have each character who has their own unique moveset. Like I know I said I was going to end the video, but now I want to go into this. Obviously, Jotaro has Star Platinum, which is super strong and super fast. Kakyoin has, is it Emerald Green? Hierophant Green. He has Hierophant Green, which can, like, it's like a snake. It can, like, sneak around, and also has Emerald Splash. And, I mean, I mentioned Hermit Purple and Magician's Red, which is just fire. And then, of course, Silver Chariot, which has the sword stuff, and it's also really fast and strong, and it's just cool, you know. And then, of course, it's a journey, you know. They are moving from point A to point B. They're making their way from Japan through the Middle East on their way to Egypt, and it's cool. It's a lot of fun, and I'm really excited as the series goes on to see different parts of the world and see more locations and more stand users, because all the stand users we've seen have been in Egypt, down into Thailand, and then into again India, Pakistan, a bunch of Middle Eastern countries, and then Egypt. You know, that's one part of the world. They could do more in Japan, but other than that, that's kind of one part of the world. And I think by the end of the season, I'm going to get sick of Egypt. I'm going to get sick of desert and smaller towns, and of course there are some bigger towns. I'm not shitting on the Middle East having small cities or whatever. Don't like don't misconstrue what I'm saying, of course. But like in the context of the show, I'm definitely excited to see, like, let's go back to America. Like, America's a huge country, the USA. I'm not saying America as a continent. Let's just do that. You know, I know I was just saying the United States, but like, let's go crazy, you know? Let's go back into Europe. I mean, I know we spent a lot of time there in part 1 and part 2, but like, now that we have stands, it opens up so many more possibilities for storytelling, and just these creative characters again, and it makes me more excited to play the video game and see all these, and like, I think is there a fighting game for Jojo? Is that it? And like, can you play as different characters? I know it's not like something like fucking, I don't know, what's it, the Dragon Ball Fighter Z, or is it Fighters, but they capitalize the Z like Dragon Ball Z? Whatever, I haven't played it because I don't really like Dragon Ball. Not that I don't like it, I just haven't watched it. Which I guess means I don't like it, but I don't dislike it. But anyway, like, they have like every fucking character in the series in that, including Goku, like 16 different versions of him. But anyway, it's like, can I have that, and can I have something like that for JoJo? I'll be trash at it, and I probably wouldn't actually get it and get into it because I'm bad at fighting games. Maybe I will. I do want to play the JoJo fighting game, or JoJo game, whatever it is. I know there is a JoJo video game. I know nothing about it. But it's cool. Again, it's like, I want more of this universe. So I'm going to say what I said at the end of the Captain America video. I'm going to stop the video so I can watch more of the show and see more of these characters, you know? One more thing, you know, it's like, it's really exciting. It's a lot of fun. And I just like shows like this that allow for these creative things in like their, like, you look at a show like Avatar, Avatar or Star Wars, you know? In Avatar, you have the different kinds of bending, and there's a lot that you can do within that, and it's cool to see the creative uses for each of the different kinds of bending, and what's new, what else can they do? Or in Star Wars with the Force, it's like, what creative power is there? It's like, oh, you can use it to, like, you just hone your senses or whatever, generic stuff like that. But then it's like, oh, you can shoot lightning out of your hands, and then you can choke people, and I mean, that's dark side stuff, but like, you can see visions of the future, and getting into like the sequel trilogy, you can like have a bridge between two people's minds, and it's like, I mean, I know some people shat on that. That was something in the sequels that I actually thought was pretty neat, but yeah, I mean, the execution wasn't perfect, but the idea of it is cool. And it feels like something that can work. With something like Stands, though, you don't have that. It's not like oh, well, I don't think you could do that with the Force. That's a little weird. I don't think you could do that with bending. That's a little weird. You can do whatever the fuck you want with the idea of Stands, as long as it's like a spirit companion to you. I mean, you get, even within that, it's like, okay, this monkey has a stand, and it's a giant ship. And this dog has a stand, and it's a car or something. This normal human has a stand, and it's also a car. You know, it's insane. A stand can be literally anything, and that's really fun. And it makes me want to do, like, a series, like, I know how Loxton Noggin has, like, what type are they? And I kind of want to do a series like that, and kind of, like, if characters from different franchises were Pokemon and had, like, the types for that, like, oh, what types are the characters from Sonic? Oh, I think Sonic is a flying type, blah, 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 and I think Shadow is a dark type, you know, stuff like that. I want to do, like, a series of my own like that. I want to steal his idea. Hey, if a million different channels can steal the idea for cinema sins, I can steal what Pokemon type is it. I want to do something like that, but like, oh, what stand would this character have, you know? Like, stuff like that. I want to, that just seems, I don't know, I like that kind of idea for a series on YouTube, and I think as the channel grows, I want to do stuff like that. You know, as much as I love reviewing shows and movies and stuff, I want to do more stuff like that, and I want to do more like deep dives. I mean, you can click off the video if you just wanted to watch someone talk about Jojo, because I think I'm done now. But just to talk about the channel, you know, as much as I love reviewing movies and eventually games, once I figure out a good way to review games, because it's harder to just sit down and talk about a game. I mean, I guess you can, but I don't know. It feels different. It's different in my head, the way I would want to talk about a game, you know? I mean, I do have plans of doing every game I played in 2020, which I was going to do for 2019, but then it just it didn't work out. But I have like made a list of, I've been making, as I go through the year, I have been making a list of every game that I play. I just played a new game today, so I gotta remember to put that down. But anyway, and I want to just do a normal like podcasty type discussion, you know, is what I normally do. But I want to do more than that, you know. I want to have like these deep dives into specific games and stuff that I like. I know I said I wanted to do a deep dive into Hamilton, but you know, like, you know, I look at games that I adore. You know, I've said this before, but as much as I love movies and TV, they're like here and games are up here, you know? I love games more as a medium. It's just harder to talk about them in this style, you know? I feel like I have to go more in depth. And I guess that's also just to do it more justice for an art form that I love more. Or not necessarily, yeah, I guess more personally. I'm not saying it's better. Definitely not, you know? There are stories you can tell in video games that you can't tell in other mediums and vice versa. No single art form is better than another. And I think to belittle video games while talking up movies is a little stupid. Or vice versa. Or even like books or just like comics and manga or whatever. Or just animation. I mean, I hate people who think that animation is just for kids and stuff. Which there are people who still think like that. And it boggles my mind when you have... Like again, I think I talked about this in my Clone Wars video, but it's like some of the biggest shows ever are made for family/adults, but whatever. I think that's about it. I don't know. I do want to do deep dives into games. You know, I adore the Kingdom Hearts series, which if you haven't watched my hour-long discussion about Melody of Memory, please watch it. I didn't analyze the trailers in that, but I did like take a bunch of notes and like really like looked through them and really I analyzed the trailers without analyzing them, you know? And I really tried to talk about everything I wanted or could even think of to say about the games, and hopefully they end up actually being good. The game ends up actually being good, you know? Like, I want to make videos on each Kingdom Hearts game, and I want to make videos on certain movies and, like, actually go in depth with them and how much I love them. Like, of course, I want to do all the Star Wars, maybe not all of them, but most of the Star Wars movies and all the Kingdom Hearts games, and, well, once I play Persona 5 Royal, then that, because I did really like Persona 5. But, you know what I mean. I want to go nuts with this. And once I get a better computer that I can get a good editing software that I don't have to pay a bunch of money for. Once I get to that point, I definitely want to go nuts, you know? Once I can, and hopefully I can eventually... Oh, whoops, I accidentally, kicked something down here. But, once I do have a better job now, so hopefully I can save up some money and get... YouTube can't be my main priority right now, obviously. There's more important things in life, especially since I'm not already doing this as a career. If I was already doing YouTube as a career, then yeah, that comes first, you know? Because it's my job. But hopefully I can get a good computer, I can get some good editing software. I know I can, because all I have is this 5-year-old Chromebook that I had for school originally, and I could edit videos on there, but it's not, a lot of software doesn't really work as well on it, so it is what it is. I've been talking for 35 minutes. Not all of that has been about Jojo. If you did stay for after I said you could leave if you only cared about Jojo, I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys listening to me, and by you guys I mean the one person who watched to this point. And by one person who watched to this point, I'll probably get like one view on the video, and they will probably click off after the first minute after they realize that this is a video of a child sitting in his bedroom talking into his iPhone, which is understandable. There's better content out there, but I want to... If this is in the future and I have blown up and I have 100,000 subscribers at least, and you found my channel and you're going back through everything and you want to see all my videos or whatever, because I do that sometimes. I'll find a new channel and just watch like most of their videos. And you've got to this one and you're like, oh, we talked about Jojo. I like Jojo. And then you get to this point and you're listen to me talk about the channel. Thank you. Thanks. Or if we went the other path and I blew up as an actor and a bunch of people have now discovered my YouTube channel, sorry about that one. I should probably end the video before I say anything else incriminating. So next week, I mean, you're still gonna get consistent Marvel videos, but I think after that, probably something, again, consistent Marvel videos. I don't know what I'm gonna review next. If I don't do anything else, it'll just be Marvel movies, you know. But yeah, I think that's all I got to say. You know, I've been talking for like 7 minutes about not the video topic. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, YouTube things. Hit the bell. I don't have I'm not big enough that I can make money off these videos, so there's no join button. But if you're rewatching this video and you want to hit the join button, or if I am at a point where I've made a Patreon, then you can do that. I mean, that's cool. I like how I'm advertising a Patreon that I don't have because I'm not a YouTuber. Before my hair looks any dumber, I'm gonna end the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Good night.